Tools report presentation. プレゼンターミス・シャン、ミスター・オータミー。I start my progress report. My research contents. I research relations between society and corporates. I want to research how corporate will react in the movement of society. The reason is that I want to research extensively about society, but I can't decide concrete contents of research. I think that I try to research relations between asset securities report and equity price. In previous meeting, I tell Deguchi sensei that I want to research extensively about society. Deguchi sensei said that there is research together Mr. Sakaki. Mr. Sakaki is 東京工科大学の人ですね。The research may be using ADNet, AADL, and exchange algebra. So first decision is that I must study about AADL and exchange algebra. I will introduce ADNet and AADL and exchange algebra. First, ADNet. ADNet stands for Electronic Disclosure for Investors Network. 日本語で訳すとこれで簡単に言うと企業の人の有価証券報告書を見れるシステムっていうことです。で Everybody can look information of corporates. Yes, so I can make agent of corporate. I'm going to show ADNet. This page is ADNet homepage. page is searching page. For example,エレクトロニック&ガス業界で、サービスで you can see some names of corporate で、you can see asset securities report PDF
I think maybe somebody cannot understand asset security report.
asset security report is corporate information corporate name CEO and address 他にもちょっと日本語になってしまうんですけど経営状況だとか、社員の人数とか、給与だとかそういった基本的な情報が、株主向けとか投資家向けに発表されている資料です。
Second type.
全部なんかそういうことが書かれているところです。東京では東京電力。
Can I put the second part? That.
これですか。これは事業内容、どういう事業をしているかっていう記述です。ってことが載ってるんで、いろいろ企業の情報を集められる。で、これからどういう経営をしていくのかっていうのも分かります。で、そこから企業の情報を取って、なんかエージェントにしようかなって考えてます。
これからのどういう経営するかって分かるんですか？どうやって？
書かれてるんですよ。
So what kind of agent? Like an agent of corporation. Agent and is strategy or just you should write an image, total image of what kind of agent, what kind of corporation in the whole system, and what is the input you input in the system and what is the output. You should have a total image of what are you going to make. Just you can skip the details. Just write a total image of the whole system and what kind of every systems have some inputs and have some outputs. So you should write an image of them. You just write, I can make agents of corporates. No, nobody understands.
Now he's thinking about it.
Is any reference or is have you searched about any reference papers? Yeah, I mean Senko Pink.
いや、 まだそこまで調べられてないですね。
Yeah, first, just for some papers, 健康研究を調べて、で問題を見つけるから、突然問題を見つけるわけにはできない。
I can't decide complete research, so I don't image.
Yeah, because you know what, I have experience like you in the past. Well, I know the problem. I can see some problem in the society. For example, in my country, there's some problem. And I want to do what kind of research that I can do, simulation or something, or build a model on this system. I have that the same thinking as you now. But before you go into learn about that, you should learn what kind of model or what kind of research that the other researchers have done, because a lot of people think like you, they see the problem like you, and they have done some research, and because they have done the research, they know that what kind of problem and what is the world they have to face. So you should first, before you focus on your problem, read a lot of papers. Yeah. Maybe it's not just related to your research at the moment. It's not related to your problems at the moment, but you can know how research is taken, is conducted. So read paper.
Second, AADL. AADL is necessary to use information of ADNet for my research. AADL stands for Algebraic Accounting Description Language. If we use AADL, we can write easily accounting systems. The manual of AADL is CAB's homepage. I will study AADL after this. Third, exchange algebra. Exchange algebra is formulated actually concepts of exchanges. For example, I bought an apple for 500 yen. So I exchanged 500 yen for the apple. This exchange was written using language of mathematics by exchange algebra. 出口先生 will teach us in summer vacation. はい、なんか
それは
わかんない。3日目かな。多分、先生が教えてくれるそうです。
Do you know the merit of it again at it? To compare with now accounting system.
I don't know what I think. exchange was written using language of mathematics.
So now account system written by not mathematically.
前にした方がいいですか？大丈夫？あ、そこまで聞こ
シンプルはまあ、maybe 秀樹先生 tell
Thank you for your attention. Do you have any question or comments?
Could you tell some relation of ADSL to relation? Yeah, such concept. In our AD.
あー I don't know about detail AADL.
あ
So,
my imagine ADL describe some mathematics describe about some information such as corporate name president name such not numeric not mathematical word to exchange mathematics. So if exchange to mathematically easily to process in simulation. まあだからそのエディネットとかの情報をその数式、まあ、数式的に表現し上げることで、まあ、こういうソアーズとかへのに落とし込む方法が簡単になるのかなと、そういうつながりかなっていうのを
I couldn't understand what is problem and what is the purpose of your research.
I don't decide concretely my research. So, I don't think problem and purpose.
What some about so exchange.
なんか今の段階ではとりあえずその ソサイティとコーポレートの関係について研究したいっていうことしか決まってなくて、具体的なその問題とか目的とかはまだ決められていない。ただその有価証券報告書と株価の関係について、調べてみようかなっていうのを今調べているところです。
わかりました。
Based on sets about the system is input and output, where if
Okay. I understand what is problem. What is problem now? The problem that he has no problem.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So but you have some research interest on society and corporations. So please find some paper. For example, go to Google Scholar, type in society, corporation, or something like that. Find some paper, read some paper, and you will find the problem. Because you just have a research interest, but you have no problem. Then you have to read paper to find the problem.
I recommend some programs.
Ah, okay.
One program about the relation of in stock market, report asset security report. Then change stock
Then
value. But well, this content is good or bad. If it's good, well, but まあこの内容がいいとしても、この内容、その価格変化も上昇するとは限らないんですよ。そういうこういう問題をちょっと進めています。仮に例えばこの内容がとても悪くて、本来ならその株価が悪い影響に動くんじゃないかっていう想定があったとしても、全然むしろ上昇したりすることもあるんですよね。そういったこの入力と出力のここにあるちょっと不可解性みたいなことをちょっと調べてるのはどうかなっていうのを一応提案してます。
そういうのはもう多分やってる。
全然やってます。
アメリカではそういうのはウォールストリートではやってるはずです。そういう全ての企業のデータを分散して、戦略を立てるウォールストリートではいっぱいある会社がある。
それはですね、ウォールストリートのこれからの予測であって、具体的にこの有価証券報告書の報告内容によってこれが変わるっていうのはちょっと
それはその中での複雑性を明らかにしたいわけで、それをまず調べる。
自衛を調べる。これをやるなら。
高橋先生はやってるんです。
高橋先生のあれは数理的なアプローチ。
そう、物理経済だから。
いや、あくまでこの要素みたいなのは関係ないんです。
でも本人は Are you interested in it?
Yes.
So you have developed your research concept. 全然まだそれがコンセプトになってない。ただ一つのなんていうのかな、
プログラム
プログラムっていうか、こういうことは見えるけれども、まずもうぼやっとしてるんだよ。そのフックスの中の中の雑性がどうなってるのか、もう本当に何も分かってない状態だから、コンセプトにはまだもうちょっと明らかになる。まあいっぱいほら経済とかね、他の研究してる先輩いるからアドバイスもらった。コーポレート、オスカルさんの研究も来てると思う。一つ企業がエージェントでお互いに、相互作用しているモデルを作ってるから、そういうのもなんかアドバイスもらえるかもしれない。手法的に。他のところ、はい、give him some advice because he have to make a research構想発表
Which is
research.
when?
Yeah?
When is they have the presentation?
I don't know when they have to do the presentation, but Mr. Ishikawa asked him to write what kind of research concept, and that is his problem. Please give him advice because after Mr. Ishikawa come back, if you don't have the research concept, you have a problem.
No? I have no idea.
No idea.
これ実際結構やったらですね。
本人がやるんでしょ。お前がやるんじゃない
進めてるんで。
だからああいうアドバイスはとても重要だから。Give him some advice like that. So you have a
企業のインフレの問題はまさにお知らせ。
ペーパーを読む。Google Scholar で Cooperation and Society The Search for Paradigm っていうのをあるし、いろいろ見つけるのそういうのまず人がどんなものをやってるのか。ただ問題を見てこれをやろうと思えばまだ研究したほとんどした経験のないのにさ突然入って研究しようとしてもねなかなか1年間2年間何もできないんですよ。修論でも大体1年間ちょっとでちゃんと完成して、完成しないと出会えないっていうことだから、ちょっとねぼやっとしすぎてということですね。頑張って素敵な先輩いっぱい。
できてないですか？ああ、そう。すいません。
Please, let's start your presentation.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Let's start my progress report. And March 11th, 20. 東日本アースクエイク、ガーベオン Z and 福島 first nuclear accidents accompanied. Because of this accident, electric power was in short supply. And because of short supply of electricity, rolling outage started in Kanto area. 日本語で言うと輪番停電みたいな。And now large scale power saving is carried out. 説明みたいなのがまだ。Since this summer, the power saving will be required from now on. For example, introducing storage battery and LED light. Agent time shift. And second step, we will build robust electrical infrastructure that can resist that large shock like a Higashi Nihon earthquake. This one, for example, smart grid, including smart meter and HEMS. And in my research,
また
HEMS is home energy management system.
ああホームソーラーパネルシステムソーラーパネル
Yes. At home, control the electricity consumption. まあそんな感じです。なんか家庭内での電力使用状況とかっていうのを見える化して制御をかけていこうと。家庭内でのっていう意味でホームエネルギーマネジメント。
ゴールデンカレーぐらいか
How about smart mirror? What kind of smart mirror?
次のスライド。
okay.
In my research, I focused the smart meter. Smart meter is the very high performance meters. This meter can automatically measure the electric consumption at an individual home and can report this information to an electricity power company. These systems enable to check and condition of electricity consumption. こういう
This is administrated by the electric power company. Administrated 管理
ああ Yes.
実とかじゃない
そう事業者なので海外のところは多分電力会社っていうイメージが近いんじゃないかな。
ドイツ
アメリカとか
あれもやっぱり
そうですねちょっと深いところなんですけどこれからだし And now many electricity industry instruments maker are planning to implant smart meter to electric instrument with a chip at the next step. This chip will enable to control instruments themselves automatically. And But the usual meta have two modules. First, major module to measure electricity consumption. And second module, connection module to report between the home and electricity power company. And the new module, new smart meter, the new smart meter they will add new module. These two modules. This new module is the calculation module to calculate the electricity consumption and controls individual action, individual instruments action. For designing the calculation module, they need the exchange algebra to represent inflow and outflow of energy. さっきの五十嵐君の発表にあったような交換台数っていうのがこれを設計するためには必要になってくると考えられています。
What's the base of algebra? What's the unit, base unit? 単位になる規定は何
わあ
For example, cost based on yen.
あ
And what?
国にワットと円みたいな感じでエネルギーと金銭的なコストをエクスチェンジしていく。This new smart meter is more high performance than usual one.
So, are we using now usual smart meter?
Usual smart meter, no, Japan,
But
but in America and Europe. Japan ではまずここから this one is a very, very high performance. But because of cost to develop and introduction, electricity charges tend to go up. Problems and solution. In my research, I will focus the two themes. I focus the energy saving plan. To this problem, I will simulate it for saving on the community with the source. And community is a company and school and home and so on. In my research, I focused that school. It's a small community, like a lecture would be. Two themes: designing a smart meter and electricity charge going up programs. To this theme, I seeking how to approach and methodology and 先行研究はレポートリサーチまだ not clearly progress report. The progress report. I plan to the simulation model. Source for saving, power saving. Sport and the Harvard light and projector and the electricity device. Agent move according to this scenario. Scenario is I planning this one, lighting 70% shift to the LED light. And 50% and so on. And they are conditioning 温度とかですね変えていくっていうシナリオとか、あとはエージェントタイムシフト。Planning the agent parameter is this one. Electricity consumption and operating efficiency. For example, operating efficiency is the higher air conditioning. Higher the air conditioning. 高くなればなるほど、こういう不快指数、作業効率みたいなのを導入して、温度が高くなるとそれが落ちたりとかっていう、そういうパラメーターだとか、ディスコンフォート、不快指数とかも考えてどうかなと思います。あとコスト。はい。
if you make if you simulate it, then you must I think you must check with some realistic. So if you compare simulator with real, you must 実際
その時は
31度20分。
夜はディシミュレーションをcompare to regular action、いつも通りの行動と比べてやる。
実際にこのシチュエーションで
ないです。
それは
Until the next progress report as my assumption, assignment. First, the implementation this model SOAS, and second, I will collect data of electricity consumption of the individual device, projector and PC and light. This collection is using this device. Thirdly, I will making scenarios of saving. And finally, calculation. 交換台数も同時にやっていこうかなと思います。一応すいません、こんな感じなんですけど。
Do you focus on only electric power and cost?
Yes.
You will be care. You don't care about use of gas or water. For home use, maybe a cogeneration system like EcoCuter, Eco-Energy, and EcoWave. This using gas and to make electric power and hot water. this may be a kind of like power management. So this is my imagination, only my imagination. Usual electric smart meter cannot account of using of gas and water. But maybe using exchange algebra, we can care of the thing. This is big merit of using a new smart meter. So you may not ignore of this. I think. For home use every day, we use we take bus and use many much hot water and make use many energy.
Customer such system is very good.
I forecast the electricity infrastructure. そういうのを参考にできるっていうことですか。
そこまで考えないと多分新しいスマートメーターの意味がないんではないかという。But if you think of only focus on only peak time 要するに、ピークタイムを抑えるだけであればそれは無視できるかもしれない。昼間の目的によります。そもそもスマートメーターってそのためだけに作られてるわけではないですよね。
全くその辺を考えてなかった。ありがとうございます。
Have you ever heard about Google Power Meter? You should have a look at it. Very interesting. Google Power Meter. Just Google it. Anyway, you are now in a very good project and you're working with Fujitsu company. Anyway, about your report, about your progress report itself, I think you should have explain about the power meter, the electric meter, because we all know the traditional meter that is have a coil and it's a run around, and if you use much electrics, it will run much faster, and then we will show how many kilowatts we have here. That is the traditional power meter, right? So traditional power meter. So what is you should explain about the system, what the system is the power meter, and what is the difference with the smart meter. What calculation? What kind of calculation? Module. You don't know about the power meter.
そうですね。ちょっと詳しく把握してない。すいません。
私の入力仕様、その側の入力仕様みたいなのは
まあ と、パワーメーターは、説明できなくもいいので、例えば、じゃあ節電はどういう方法で節電するかという、それを例えばこういうグラフに出して説明する。あなた、例えばこれ半日こうするし、電力の使用がこう。で、例えばこの辺はドライヤー。この辺はエアコンディショナー。フリージャー。こういうのを発見して節電するっていうシステムとか、それとも何を解決して節電をするかという節電の方法をthe method saving power, saving electricity. So what is the method? For example, this is Google Power Meter, and it will calculate all, this kind of electric consuming pattern, and then give some tips to the customer to and it can predict the total money you have to pay to
Google Parameter or like this one.
yes, and they collect all the data of using electric patterns of the customers, for example, in California, and then they developed an application that then you put in this, put your data in, and then they can give some tips. For example, save, yeah, they give some tips. For example, like cut off the light at this time, or don't use fridge this time, or something like that. This is Google Power Meter. That the input is this electric consuming pattern, and the output is tips and the prediction of the total money you have to pay to the electric company. This is the Google Power Meter. And I don't know how the system, how
僕がイメージした iTechnology Imagination of Smart Meter
smart meter. The imagination is fine.
and
It's better to understand this.
まあなんかまあテレビとかあとエアコンディショナーかまあちょっと小さすぎるとあるんですけどまあそれごとになんかコンディションっていうかそれぞれにチップを埋め込むみたいなそういうイメージです。
そのフリーズが
は技術とかっていうわけではないんですけど、まあそういうふうにここのデバイスをチップで管理して、でそれを一気にどこかで把握して、まあなんか
スマートメーター。そう、こういうイメージが必要だ。こういうレポートに。例えば各デバイスにキャルクレーターのモジュールを入れて、でトータルにそのメーターにトータルをするカルクレーションのモジュールがあるわけでしょう。それで、そういう電力のコンスユーミングの電力の使用状況によって最適化というかいろんなシナリオこれら状態でシナリオをたくさん作って改善のシナリオを見つければいいっていうわけですよね。この研究は。
そうですね。
だからそういうトータルのイメージを書けばいいんですよ。これはこういうのなかったから分かんない。メンタルにこういうなんでカルクレーションモジュールです何のためにですか。だからこれ入れることによって目的は節電なんだけどどうやって節電するのかっていうそれは分かんない。こういうレポート聞いて。こういうのはいいんですよ。書けばいいんです。こういうのを図として書いて構想発表のレジュメというかA4の1枚入ればいいんですよ。構想の段階はそれでいいんですよ。イメージ必ずあった方が分かります。この後すぐ分かるね。1分の説明で分かる。
This method will be only monitoring device, but not controller. Monitoring.
Both monitoring and control.
So we control the chips in that TVs or air conditioner.
Yes.
Control the device.
Control the device.
勝手に消されたら困る。How to control? Maybe only only by this device. The result will figure out if we injure, then energy saved. このままだ要するに、ね、我慢すればエネルギーが減ると消費が減るというつまらない結論ではやっぱり困るわけですよね。何々が分かるとそういった別の手法でエネルギーをセーブできるとかそういったアイデアがあるかどうかが多分肝だと思うんですよね。でそれは今までのメーターではできない。
例えばこのシステムの中にユーザーっていうのを入れないといけない。なぜかというとそのメーターで表示された使用電力の状況を見てユーザーを変えるわけですね。使用するのはユーザーだからそうでしょうね多分1ヶ月にずっとそのまま毎日のパターンをやってユーザーを使用パターンを変えなければ こういうシステム意味ないんですね。だからメーターのこう表示に見てて、ユーザーは節電を努めて、で例えばエアコンラッシュ集中時間にエアコンデンシナーを切ったりテレビを消したりするという、まあ多分それのシステムの中にそういう、まあ例えばであったりユーザーがいないと意味ないので、
ユーザーの行動を
そうそうそう。
我慢しない以外の節電方法を使うかもしれないし。
でもあと田村さん言ったようにメーターがその各主要の電力のデバイスをコントロール、要は制御するんだったらその制御システムは多分相当難しいと思う。ですよね。
まあ多分なんだろう、これは勝手な想像だけど、要するにメーターが電力だけじゃなくてトータルなコストを計算できるんだったら、要するに安い方のエネルギーを使えばいいということですよね。要するに電気の代わりにガスを使うとかそういうことになるわけですよね。そういう深夜だったら電気は安いけども昼間だったら
多分僕はこのメーターで使用電力の状況をパターン見れればですね、それは大きな革命というかまあ、スマートメーターにも言えると思うんですよね。で今まで言っててメーターはさコイルがこうぐるぐる回って
こういうのしか
そういうしか分かんないけど、どれだけ使ってるか分かんないし、で月末では請求書が来るんです。だけども毎日その使用のパターンを人が見えるようになったら、それは大きな、それは人が自分で節電の使用のパターンを変えればいいわけですね。
あとまあコストに響くのって基本量ですよね。要するに何アンペアまで40と50、60って上がっていくとすごい基本量が上がるんで、だからピークを抑える、どこがピークになるのかって家の中でピークの、まあ、コントロールができたらそれはそれで大きいですよね。
あと多分そのメーターの中にさ、例えばこうテレビとかエアコンディショナーとかドライヤーとか使用の量は単位が結構それ変わるわけですね。分かるんですよね。だからトータルのメーターを見て、今はテレビつけたなとか、今ドライヤー使ったなとか、そういう推定はできない。それをそうするとチップスを各デバイスに入れる必要ないので、それできたらすべてこういうチップスを入れたり、テレビとかこのプレスのチップスを入れたりすると結構コスト高いね。だからそれメーターのスマートメーターの自体じゃなくて、また各家の中のデバイスを全部こうチップスみたいな先を入れないといけないっていうのがそれ実現可能なのかな。
あれかな、そのメーカーがあらかじめ入れたものを販売する仕組みはしてそれだったらやる。
そしたらもうスマートメーターじゃなくて、これもうスマートソサイティになっちゃうね。全部スマート家電になっちゃう。だからメーターの構造だけを集中してやるのか、それとも The whole system、それをまあ明確する必要。例えばある程度はついてできると思う。パッとの短い時間に使うのそのぐらいで、長時間30分1時間でこうある程度こういう下手なちょっと上がった電力っていうのはテレビとかエアコンだとパーッと上がって、でここまたこういうパターンがあるんでしょうね。寒くなったら暑くなったり。
あと冷蔵庫ですね。
冷蔵庫もそうだね。
ノイズになる。
冷蔵庫はずっと24時間つけっぱなしじゃないですか。
まあ
でも開けたりとか入れるものとか
ガスをこう回す時間っていうのは熱くなっちゃってる感じ。ずっと動いてるわけで。だからどういうシステムを開発するかというそういう図で説明する。そうするとみんな分かりやすいからいろんなアドバイスとか質問とかできるわけですね。
ちょっとこのスマートメーターの話は自分の中でもまだどこが問題でとかっていうのとかもあんまりはっきりしてない状態なんですけど、さっき田沼さんが言ってくれたような、例えば本当にこのメーターに全部制御されてしまうんであればその安いエネルギーを使ったりとかっていう話が出します。
多分スマートメーターが電力会社主導で作ったら
あ
多分電力しか見ないですよね。
あなると電力がもし自由化とかしていろいろまあ企業が電力を提供する企業が現れたら別にそれは価格とかがまたそれぞれの会社によってちょっとずつ変わってきたりとか。
まあ、だから電力会社、ガス会社、まあ、水道はどうか、あんまり積極的じゃないけども、直企業が多分限られてる。電力とガスってやっぱりそのライバルですよね。で、できるだけ自分の方を使ってほしいと思う。でも、なんだろう。スマートメーターってでもどっちかのその電力会社だけの味方になるわけじゃなくて、やっぱり消費者の味方になってほしいかなという願望も研究者としてあるわけじゃない。
スマートメーターゴールデン化とセット。
要するに電気使わせるためだけに作られるんでは多分役に立たないというかあんまりつまらないものしかできないと思う。
やっぱ合作というかコラボみたいな感じ。コラボレーション
トータルな
感じに
ものを計算トータルなその要するにリソースの配分を計算できるのであれば本当に使ってる人の味方になる。
ガスの床暖房ガスの給油するだけじゃないじゃん。給湯だけじゃない。
ちょっと他の海外の事例とかっていうのもまだそういうことはあんまり調べられてないんですけど、なんかすごく電力会社主導な感じになりそうな
まあそうでしょうね。
気がするんですよね。すごい力を持ってる。
コンピューターが東京に
発展スマートメーターの実装される段階っていうのを考えると、これが実際実装されて、巻き地とガス会社がこういうシステムを作って、で、2つある
電力会社の協力を受けつつ消費者のその研究を行うっていうのになってるんですか。
まあやり方でしょうね。基本的にだから今スマートメーターっていう電力会社は美味しいんですよね。やっぱりトータルな細かい多分その消費が情報が読めるから。
なんていうかその多分やっぱり2つの業界がやっぱりちょっと協力し合わないと、そのまあガスと電力つなげるっていうのも結構難しいんですけど、 例えばこれが電力会社主導になってしまったら、今度はそれはその、電力の自由化みたいなので電力会社がいくつか現れて、その中でもう電力の中だけでこうじゃあ安い方の電力会社から電力を買おうとかっていうように、電気ガスの行き来じゃなくて電力業界中だけでこう移るみたいな。
送電発電分離とかなんかそこら辺の問題が絡むから
でなんかもうそういう方向に進みそうな気がします。
スマートメーター入れることの目的って節電なんですか？
節電というよりは、自律的ななんかシステムを作っていくみたいな。
メリットを具体的に言うと、
こういうなんか見える化みたいな
して
できたり、
から
まあ制御の部分とかにもちょっとずつこう、
見える化して
例えばさっき言ってたような、なんか個人個人がこれを見て行動を変えるじゃないけど、
例えばなんかバッテリーみたいのがあって、それでタイムシフトとかするために使うとかじゃないですか？
いや、多分タイムシフトとか節電っていうのだけがメインではなくて、きっとなんかそのずっと使える自律的なその電力のシステムみたいな、そういうの
あんまりそれ入れてなんでそうなるのかがちょっとあんまし直結
メリットってあれですよね、どっちから見るかにもよりますよね。なんか消費者から見たら多分電気代が減ってお金が安くなるっていうのもメリットになるんじゃないですか、長い目で見たら。
あれ入れると
電気代減るんじゃないですか。だってこっちのエアコンでめっちゃ使ってる時に、例えばテレビ切るとかして全体での家庭全体での電力量をこう安定させたら、多分まあどっかしらでこうロスが出てるはずじゃないですか。そのロスを削るっていう意味では意味あるんじゃないですか。
見える化で、
まあその機器の方で削るのもそうですけど、自分でこんな電気使ってたんだみたいな、自分が今どれだけ全体で電気使ってるかとかわかんないじゃないですか。で例えば今まで平均してこれぐらい使ってたのに、今日はなんかよくわかんないけどこんなに使ってるからこのままいったらお金いっぱいかかっちゃうなみたいに自分で思ったら、まあ消すじゃないですか。なんかいらないもの
結局なんか月末のその明細みたいなので1ヶ月どれだけが扱いすぎたのかっていうのは、
月末の明細だったら意味なくないですか。
月末っていうか、まあ
それが動的に見えるっていうのがスマートメーターのいいところじゃないですか。
月ごとの明細とかで結局今までの自分の電力の使用状況を把握してたのが、これだとまあ細かに見えて、まあ、意識を変えたりとかっていうのにもつながる。
これはなんか俺のイメージなんですけど、電力会社側からしたら結構その電気の消費量がある程度安定的になるんじゃないのかなと思うんですけど、だからこう収入とかなんかその電気の計画が立てやすくなるんじゃないですかね。
電力会社側の
あとはあれですよね、その家電とかの機器側のメーカー側のメリットも、まあその収入とかその機器の収入とか、じゃあそのスマートメーターに対応している方の家電買おうとかっていうのは、結局こう最終的にそのメーカーと電力会社と消費者がこうウィンウィンじゃないですけど、そういうふうにするのも好きですね。
電力会社側のとメーカー側のメリットは明白なんで、チップは多分要するに消費者側が負担する必要はおそらくないはずなんですよね。チップ入れてさらにその要するに優遇して売ってもいいぐらいのもんなんですよね。
チップ入れることで補助金が出て、そっちの家電の方が安いかするんです
まあ多分、そんぐらいになってもおかしくない。
でもなんかそれ補助金出してくださいとかには違いますよね。なんか
まあ多分そこら辺は政治的なだから明らかに利益としては消費者側の利益ってまあやっぱり説明難しいですよね。何が要するに見える化して何が美味しいのってやっぱりよく分かんないですよね。まあ明らかに電力会社がコントロールできるんですよね。要するにトータルの電力量が分かるというのはやっぱり非常に即座に分かるという非常に重要なことなんで。
ああいう大規模な停電とかもまあ
防げる。
未然に防げるようなシステムにしていこうっていうのが世界的な動きで、ちょっと日本は遅れてるんだけど。
アメリカの国が進んでして
節電、この目先の節電っていうのだけが目的っていうのがあって、そういうのを防いでいこうっていうのが目的です。
状況があれば制御できるという、まあ一般的な法律だから、要は内部の状態は分かったら制御できるという一般の方式というか法律というか、補足だから状況分かんないと何もコントロールできない。見える化にするっていうのは大きな
ちょっともっと他の海外の動きとかも目を向けながら。
カリフォルニアの各家庭はもうルールを導入してるんですよ。家庭
まだ Google パワーメーターは出てないんだけど、ベータ版っていうか、ちょっと調べてみたい。
日本の仕切りとか
日本なんかはやってる。
今年の9月パワーメーター今年の9月打ち切りとか
カリフォルニア州ではまだ実装ではなってないんだけど、
家庭への導入みたいなのを実際に実装されてたんだったらそこからまあ上げてやる計画なんです中国とかなんか性的にやるのか
まあそれが後に話して提案すればいいんだけ
ちょっといろいろと情報がありがとうございました。
ネクストプレゼンターにスミス・シャープ。
ちょっと冷房温度上げないですか。寒いです。
talk about my research progress, I want to say something about how you can do research progress and procedures. And basically, actually, this is for social science, but I guess the research is more or less the same. So hopefully, this can be helpful for those M1 students for your master thesis or for your research in your master degree. So actually, the first step, the very important step of research is to craft your research question, what you want to do, and what you want to find out. So this research question can be motivated by some real-life experience, but the most important thing, you have to derive the research question from the literature. You have to read papers. You have to know what's going on in the literature, like Wang said before. You have to read papers, and maybe the best is to read latest papers, so you know what is the trend in this field. And after you read several papers, actually you do not need to go into the details of the paper. As the first step, you can read the introduction and the conclusion of the paper. You can see what is the future problem, and that's fine. And the important thing is the research question should be as specific as possible. You have to know, you have to craft questions like how is something, what is the phenomenon, and why this happens. You have to ask specific questions. So in this way, later when you design your research, you can focus on a small aspect. If your research question is not specific, then later you will find yourself lost in your research. Then you have to go back. So actually it's quite time consuming. So the important is at the first beginning, you craft the research question as specific as possible. And then after you have your research question, you can construct your theoretical framework. And also for this one is from the literature. You know, basically for your research question, there should be many other research doing the same one, and then what theoretical framework they use. And then you may try to criticize or apply or modify the existing theoretical framework. Okay. And then after you have the theoretical framework, you can decide the methodology, how you can do the research. Is it qualitative one or is it quantitative one? Is it system modeling? Do you want to do survey, on-site observation, interview? What kind of research method you want to deploy? And then after you have your theoretical framework, you have your methodology, then you can go into the field to collect the data based on the theoretical framework and your methodology, your research design. So all the things should be consistent with each other. And after you collect your data, then you can start data analysis. You can do experiment, you can run the simulation, you can design a model, and then you can apply the previous theoretical framework to analyze your data. To maybe at the first beginning you have some hypothesis. Then you, after you collect data, after the analyze, you may see whether your data, whether the hypothesis is true or not. So after you finish all the 5 steps, basically you finish your research. Then after you get some results, then that's the contribution to the literature. And of course, there are something left to be done. That then is the future work. So basically, in master thesis, I guess the flow is quite similar.
Yeah, I think everyone should memorize this. So very useful too.
Yeah, I think this is the flow of the master thesis. Even for your future research, if you want to do PhD, then this is the normal flow. So I guess most of the students, including me, actually are in this step 1 or step 2. So it's quite beginning. If no question, actually for my research progress, the agenda is first I will introduce the research background, and then introduce the current status and problems, maybe future work. Because my background is not agent-based modeling, so I have to start over again from the right beginning, from step 1 to craft my research question. So actually, before I came here, my interest is innovation diffusion. The innovation is implanted by a few adopters at the outside, and then it will be diffused into a complex social system. So basically, it's quite a dynamic process, and many stakeholders are involved in this process. And also, the innovation has the disruptive nature. That means there are many uncertainties and unexpected things inherited in the technology. So when it is put into use, the technology, the innovation may challenge the existing technology and create new opportunities, like it may open new market, it may discover new resources. So basically in the literature, there are two prevailing ways to study the innovation diffusion. The first one is mathematical modeling. You use some mathematical tools to analyze the phenomenon. But because the innovation diffusion is very dynamic, and during the interaction between the customers and technology, there may be some unexpected consequences. So the mathematical modeling might be too rigid to capture the dynamic consequences of the innovation diffusion. And another one is interpretive study. That means you use verbal language to describe the process. You use language. So, human language is very subjective. So the interpretive study might be too flexible to be scientific, to be rigorous. So in this sense, maybe agent-based simulation of the innovation diffusion process is a better methodology.
Did you use yourself?
You mean previously?
Yeah.
Yes, actually for my master's study, I used this one. I use quantitative. I try to go into the field and collect data, and then, but it's not rigorous. It depends on my interpretation. So if I say it's right, then there is some meaning. But others may disagree with my research. So that's interpretive study. You have no way to validate the result. And still, I want to do innovation diffusion, but there are many innovations, right? So there are product-oriented innovation, and there is service-oriented technology. So my focus for my PhD degree, I want to focus on the service-oriented technology. Actually, what is service? Actually, service science and service system is quite a new research field. There is no clear definition or structure of this field, so there are many opportunities. So the service basically is the application of the competence and the knowledge to create value between the providers and customers. So the value is not only created by the manufacturer of the product, it's created between the provider and the consumer. And also the service system basically involves multiple stakeholders. It involves the people, involves the organizations, involves the technology, and also the shared information. So the basic function of service-oriented technology is to deliver the value-added services to the customer. So this is the basic concept. And compared to the product-oriented technology, the service-oriented innovation focuses on the process rather than the static program of IT structure. So there are many service-oriented technologies as well. So what I want to focus is e-government. It's a kind of service-oriented system. So e-government, the basic function of e-government is to deliver the government services by using some web technologies. I believe for the Japanese government, there is a website, right? There are many information provided by the government. And nowadays, actually, the services have evolved from those offline services like the government information to some value-added services to offer the convenience, transparency, and efficiency. Like nowadays, in Hong Kong's e-government, you can pay tax through the government, and then you can update your driving licenses, and then you can update your personal information through the website. So actually, it saves a lot of time. But the problem is that many research indicates that the e-government system actually failed to capture the imagination of these citizens. They failed to attract the citizens to accept these services. So, and actually the adoption rate of e-government among the citizens is quite low. Just imagine have you ever used the Japanese e-government?
Tax is also.
Yeah, but maybe many people are not even be aware of there are these kind of services. So my research question, actually for the e-government activities, there are 3 categories: G2G, government to government, government to business, government to citizen. So my focus is on government to citizens, the most popular ones. So my research question is, what is the driving force of the e-government phenomenon, and how the e-government is diffused, assimilated into the citizens, and then what is the effect of this simulation and diffusion. So the research question is twofolded. The first step, I have to understand this phenomenon within the government setting, and maybe I will use Hong Kong government system as the case, but I'm not sure yet. And then after I finish this step, the second step will be try to figure out what is the effect of this assimilation and diffusion, and how it affects the value creation between the provider and customer. So is there any question? So this is basically the research question. My research. And then after I have my research question, I may focus on the theoretical framework. How can I study this research question? So actually at this stage, I'm considering the institutional theory. Actually, it's quite famous theory in the information system studies. And I may use the enacted technology framework. Actually, this is one of the most refined and integrated framework to study the technology in organizations, especially in government settings. So this framework actually is focused on the interactions between the organizations, between the government, and also between the technology. And the basic logic of this framework is that we assume there is the objective information technology, and we have organizational forms and institutional arrangement. Actually, these two will shape the meaning of the objective information technology to be some enacted technology. And on the other way, vice versa, the organizational forms and institutional arrangement will be affected by the technology as well. So objective information technology is the software, hardware, and internet used in the organization. And organizational forms is the structure of the organization, whether it is centralization, and what is the formulation, and what is the communication channels in these organizations. And institutional arrangement is the culture of the society, is the laws, the regulations of the society. And these two together will shape the objective IT to some enacted technology. Actually, this one, you can view this one as the perception or usage of the objective information technology. And in organizational level, you can view this one as the features actually are put into place during the implementation. And of course, this enacted technology will generate some outcomes in terms of the efficiency, transparency, and effectiveness. And this outcome will go back to influence the organizational forms and institutional arrangements as well. So this is the framework to capture the interactions between the technology and the organization. But actually, this work actually is widely accepted in the innovation, in the product-oriented innovation field. So I'm not sure whether this framework will fit the service-oriented product or not. So I'm still considering this one. And another problem about this one is it's focused on the technology and organization, then it ignores the customer side, the user side. So I find another framework called, actually it's also from the institutional theory, and for this framework it focuses on the interactions between the customers and the innovation systems. So according to this theory, there are 3 ways the organization can influence the individual's behavior and actions. It's the structure of signification, structure of legitimization, and structure of domination. So basically, the individuals, the customers can utilize these 3 structures and try to make sense of the technology in the organization, and then try to see whether to accept to use the technology or not. And also actually the government can manipulate these 3 structures, therefore to influence, to guide, to motivate individual users to accept technology. So the significant, actually this one will provide the understanding and meaning of the whole system and try to persuade the users, to guide the users to accept the technology. And for the domination is try to validate the behaviors of the individual to see whether they align with the purpose of the technology or not. And legitimization is to enforce the existing standard. And for the within the signification, the top management leadership, this aspect will provide a context of the technology to state what is the purpose of this technology and what is the usage of this technology. And user support is the technical support from the service provider. And then the security is how well, to what extent this system will protect the user's information. Because nowadays for the electronic services, security and privacy is quite an important aspect. And for the domination, for the IT sophistication is how important is the technology and how desirable is the technology, whether this technology is useful or not. And then for the user IT competence is whether the user can perform some desired actions to achieve the goals of the system. And for the standard efficacy is whether the system is comprehensive, whether it is effective and whether it enforces the standard. So actually all these 3 structures will influence, will motivate the user's acceptance and assimilation of the technology. So this one is focused on the customer side, the interaction between the customer and the technology implemented in the organizations. So my problem now is, although these 2 frameworks actually are well used in the innovation diffusion literature, how can I integrate these 2 frameworks together? Actually, they are from the same theory, but the framework is different. One is focused on the interaction between technology and organization, and one is focused on the interaction between technology and customer. So how can I integrate these 2 theoretical frameworks? And also the most serious problem is how can I convert this to agent-based modeling? Because I have no background in agent-based modeling, I have no idea whether I can do modeling based on this theoretical framework or not. So I'm not very confident about this one. So the tentative plan is go back to the product-oriented innovation system, innovation process literature, and see, because there are many agent-based simulations there. So try to see whether I can get some tips from the previous literature. So the future work for this summer, of course, go back to the literature review, try to read papers on innovation diffusion process. And this time I will focus on the methodology part to see what's the methodology, whether they use agent-based simulation or not. And then also learn the agent-based model learning, because I missed the courses this semester, so maybe I can catch up with your learning source. So that's basically my research program. Is there any questions or suggestions?
What is two theoretical models? First is first. Program. First, how to integrate these two theoretical models. So I can get what is the first and second.
Oh, the first one is, this one is the technology enactment framework. This one is focused on the technology and the organizations and institutional arrangements. And the second one is, this one is focused on the interaction between the customer, the willingness to accept the technology between the customer and the technology, the institutional structures. So actually, I have a rough idea how to integrate these two, but I'm not sure. Because these three actually are institutional structures. And in previous framework, there is institutional arrangement. So maybe I can expand this one to the second framework. So, but I'm not sure. So I have to find out whether someone has done this before or not. So it's just a rough idea. I have to confirm this one.
Maybe second one is a macroscopic model.
Yeah.
Yes. And first, maybe micro.
So can I integrate these two? I'm not sure. Okay. It's just source. But there is some intuitive interaction between these two. This is institutional structures and this is institutional arrangement. Actually, the organizational forms can use these three to motivate the users to adopt the technology. So maybe it's possible, but I'm not sure yet. Any suggestions? So another problem is I'm not sure whether I can build agent-based models based on this theoretical framework.
Maybe can you explain what kind of mathematical model that describe the innovation phenomena? Maybe the concept of mathematical model before we going to move to agent-based modeling, we can examine some mathematical model of innovation, and perhaps particularly in the institutional theory there.
Maybe no. I find a paper doing simulation of the few the cars, the vehicles. They claim they based on institutional theory. But the model, I can't see the connections between the model and the theory, so I'm a little bit confused. But there are many agent-based simulation of innovation diffusion in the literature. But they do not use theoretical framework. They just build the models based on
maybe
some mathematics.
maybe there is a one model of the diffusion. If you know best model. It is the mathematical, yes, best model.
I'm not sure this one.
And the best model is also extend to the system dynamic. Macro simulation, but this is not agent-based simulation. We in the system dynamic we have a bird view. We have exact equation about all the component of the system. Maybe it is my suggestion, only my suggestion. Maybe you can examine the model of system dynamic first before you can change to the agent-based modeling, because maybe there are relationship like Nguyen Sang in the last week explained how relationship between system dynamic in case of disease. There are relationship between disease phenomena and agent-based system dynamic and agent-based. Maybe there are so many model of diffusion, especially in innovation, described in system dynamic. So the first thing is to observe how we can change the system dynamic point of view to agent-based. And maybe this is the interesting topic, because you combine how the institutional theory in the side of organization and side of customer, provider and customer, and you want to combine the interaction. This is so very interesting.
I just remember there's
but
a paper on system
yes,
dynamics.
this is the new one. This is novel. But this is some problem how to make the agent-based modeling.
Because the service system is quite new and people
Yeah,
still using the
Only conceptual, no simulation model for this one.
only they are at the theoretical building stage.
Yes, theoretical building stage.
Yeah,
Yes.
they try to
Only
use
theoretical framework. Yeah.
they try to use away those traditional research methods.
So if you can make the simulation, this is your work is very important, very excellent.
I guess it will be very hard.
So maybe this is the best model. In the mathematical model is also extended to system dynamic model. So and causal loop diagram. This cause this cause this. There are so many papers including to, but this is maybe in the production area, how the product is innovation in the product, not in the institutional. Maybe this is the differences, but we can learn from the existing one. Maybe this is my suggestion.
Yes, thank you very much. It's very useful and it's very.
So yes, this is influence individual connection and behavior. It is also important how individual or customer interact with provider, and also how the provider interact with customer, because they consist of human. They have cognition and also have behavior to make the decision. This is difficult but so interesting. So very interesting. Thank you very much.
Because some of the members don't know how the innovation diffusion curves is like this, because it's like for example, infectious diseases have a SIR curves, and innovation diffusion have some kind of stylish curve. For example, telephone is a big innovation human human society, right? Human, right? So at the innovation diffusion curve can be divided at the period can be divided into 6 periods. The early innovators, early adoption, early adopter, early majority, late majority, and late production. In other words, it means that telephone at the first time the innovators and his related people use it. So here is the number of total adoption, not the number of total users, and this is the number of users per period. Per period. So in the first period, the innovators use innovators and his related people use the telephone, for example. And after that, early adoption, that means early user. They find that, for example, because at the first time telephone is very expensive, so only a few people can afford it to telephone. So the total number is increasing, and because it is new, it is good. So the number of users per period is also increased. And in the early and late majority, the situation is the same. But in the late majority period, a little bit, the speed of increasing of users a little decrease. And in the laggard period, the maximum user, they already reach maximum users, and the number of users per period is decreased. Right? So this kind is the example. Stylish curves of innovation diffusion. And this can be reproduced by several mathematical models.
Yes.
For example, Bayes model or a lot of mathematical model. I explain this because maybe some of you don't know about these curves. This explain how innovation diffuse. And I think there are a lot of mathematical, so you need a review on the mathematical model. Yeah, because it's.
But I don't know. This is the curve based on the production, based on the product. But in the case of institution, how like dissemination of culture, the accelerator model. This is some kind of also some kind of diffusion, how culture diffuse in some society. So this is also maybe the curve is not like this. So this maybe new from the point of view of simulation model.
Yeah, actually I read some papers on the surveys science, and actually they try to use the traditional models in the production production field and do some modifications and then apply directly to this new field. So I'm not sure whether this case applies here or not. So I mean, read more papers on how they do it.
But maybe in interpretive study, what the interpretive study tools to analyze the innovation of diffusion?
Basically
Interview and use statistical. No?
Yeah, they use survey. The most prevailing theory is TAM, the technology acceptance model. They try to make several hypotheses whether this factor affects the acceptance or not, and then they use survey, and some of them use semi-interview or group interview to test whether use statistics to test whether the hypothesis is right or not. So actually that is the prevailing methodology in evolution.
Only static point of view.
Yeah, only statics.
How this factor correlate to this factor, how this affect to the factor.
Yeah, that's right. That's the because the theoretical work asserts that the perception of usefulness and the perception of efficiency, I'm not sure, and they will affect the diffusion process.
So maybe in agent-based concept, you must also define who is the agent,
Yeah, that's right.
what is the behavior, what is the rule, what is the activity of the agent, and you have two agents, provider and customer.
Customer.
So there are two big agents, two group of agents, provider and also customer. Customer have behavior, also rule, also activity. How the interaction between provider and customer, you must define the interaction.
So
So you have defined three structure. Yeah, signification, domination, legitimation. This is some kind of socialization. Yes.
That's right.
How this interact? How the provider socialize this signification, domination, legitimation? This is also have difficulty to.
Actually, the theory asserts that actually the organization can manipulate S3 to influence the individuals. So I guess there are some interactions and connections between these two, but I haven't gone into detail, so I may.
Interaction and communication. How to communicate this information.
Actually, that paper based on this framework, they use Survey to study the diffusion process. And another paper based on the previous framework, they use system dynamics.
System dynamics.
So
But because it's only the provider side.
they do not focus on the customers. So they can do some interpretation. Thank you very much for your advice and suggestions.
Do you have any announcement?
So often, usually the chairman has to prepare the, feedback form before.
バーベキューです。オーガスト。何日だっけ？オーガストサード。いつからだっけ？
3日ですか？
3日でしたね。そう
3日です。
さバーベキューやります。で、どうしても参加できないっていう方はいないですか？ OK。で、できれば今日2500円。
今日
集めたいんですが、
今
そうですね。
OK
参加者。
あでもあっちの方に
まあ戻ってからで大丈夫です。
あ私今
もう聞いてくれたんですか。
そういう流れになってる。
いくら ?2500?
Next Tuesday, after the seminar.
ウェンズデー
次
来週
来週水曜日。
あそういえば
barbecue for our life.
No.
Okay.
In Senko.
そうです。
Department.
あ、デパートメント。
あ、これ J2 だけ
J2 の一の施設。
J2 last year we did that. Miss Tirana Sensei among us. So Tirana
Last weekend, she has some kind of, yeah, she wants to use it in the barbecue, maybe this is some of that. This is amazing.
あ、ごめんなさい。